They call me the reaper of the digital age. Every text I send becomes a loaded gauge. Happy birthday! I cried to a chat of remorse. Now I'm the villain of this cursed discourse. Shit, there it goes, my social finesse.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Conspiracy Wars. My name is Kyle.
And I'm Nathan.
All right.
All right. Well,
So,
how's your week?
it's been a good, eventful week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that song there was the lyrical content was about shit. I'm in the wrong chat room and I made a mistake. Because that's the hot topic right now.
Making a mistake in the chat. Oh, because of the guy who got in on the strike. All the sensitive info, the journalist. Yeah.
Classified information.
Right. Yeah.
And then we've come to learn that classified information is being it's less than professional.
Yeah.
Dealing with people's lives. Yeah.
Oh, what you mean? Just how cavalier they are about?
Yeah. Like they had human targets.
Yeah.
And like the whole plan is one that we're all kind of behind. Like these terrorist groups, and they're firing and stopping ships from going through this certain port, and
Right.
they need to drop bombs along this strip and kill the targets. And they did that successfully, and it could have been tactful, but their text messages had like fire emoji and
Right.
yeah, rocket ships and American flags.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny because like that is kind of how we think of, like, when we're joking, that's how we think that they're doing shit behind the scenes, like these morons are just doing like fucking smiley face emoji, devil face emoji, bomb.
And they accidentally included somebody from the press.
Right.
Oops.
Well, I someone from the press should be there, really. I mean, then they can, report on what's going, like a certain level of transparency, because then that they're not really fucking around on the other side. I mean, as long as that journalist knows, what's, they have an NDA, basically. They're not allowed to talk about what they heard there, then it shouldn't be a problem. Like,
yeah.
That's where we're supposed to have levels of transparency, where like when they're talking about fucking going to war and shit, we should have journalists in there who are like, did you know that they're actually seriously considering fucking doing this? Where we're like, oh, like I thought that, it was a back burner thing. I didn't realize they were so serious.
Now, I think it's a problem because they stopped giving the people spoils of war. So, like, think of it this way. If Trump told all the American people, hey, guess what, guys? I'm going to bomb this strip of houses. And once I do that, this is going to go down in price because we're rocking and rolling. They were holding it up.
Right.
This is what we're doing right now. They're like, okay, cool. Sure, let's do it. Let's see. Oh, successful bombing. America, USA, thank you. But I think it's only people in secret that are collecting that money.
Right.
That's been the conspiracy this whole time.
Well, what is the what was the target exactly? Do you know?
The Houthis.
The Houthis. That's who they're trying to hit.
Mm-hmm.
So what was it like you said, a strip? Was it like a whole bunch? I kind of have only heard about this story in passing because I found it really annoying.
Yeah, and the most I've been hearing is just a lot of the grilling and finger pointing and trying to figure out that.
Right. Like
the military plan was sound. It was just like, just drop a bunch of a carpet bomb,
right?
And
indiscriminate bombing,
as America does.
Yeah,
it's kind of their MO.
Do they know if there's children and shit in that war zone or
casualty of war soldier? Possibly, but that's why they do those things. Because sometimes they can't hide, like the terrorists hide behind children, and the masses will say, well, then let the terrorist live. And there's people smart enough to know that if that terrorist lives, it's going to take a dead child to save 10 dead children.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, we're talking about people who have claimed to be able to read the Nike logo on a shoe from space with their, with their technology. I'm talking about Israel, like technology that they have for spying on people. They boast that they're the greatest spies in the world. So, like, let's imagine for a minute you have used all your spy equipment because, first of all, if they haven't been able to find these guys, these guys have been so well hidden with all this, the world's greatest spy equipment, and they're hiding in tunnels and throwing rocks, then I guess you got to work on that fucking technology a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. But let's say it does work as well as it does. And then they're going to be, hunting these people down. They use like, I forget what the name of that program is. I think it's called Who's Your Daddy? That's the name of the program that they use. And it like targets in on fucking, certain people that they've got on their list. Mm-hmm. But I think it hits their family. Like it looks for their family and stuff like that. So you can like hit family targets of important people. So you know where they live because it's like, oh, he's probably at his mom's house, or he's at his brother's house, or he's at his sister's house. Like, like they just hit all these targets where this person's supposed to be now. So let's say like that you used your fucking all your might and you found fucking the bad guy here, and he's holding up a 10-year-old kid and he's like, don't shoot. And he's running, you can either gun the both of them down to, save future people, or you can say, okay, he won this round. But how long is he going to get away for? You know what I mean? Like, he gets away, you're going to find him. All you have to do is fucking look a little harder. Like the way that they're just like saying like, oh, we need to find Hamas. We have to bomb everyone because they're hiding underneath a hospital or something like that. So send in fucking troops. Yeah. Like, so what if a couple of them have to get shot? That's the price that the war is going to have to pay. Some of your guys are going to die, and then you're going to take out all the bad guys eventually. Yeah. But at least you're not going to be just like indiscriminately bombing and killing, children. Like the hugest casualty of the war has been women and children, right? It's been like 80%. 80% of the deaths. Like, I mean, there was some situations where they were talking about like killing 300 people just to get one guy, like at like camps where they thought that he was like refugee camps and shit like that. Oh, they're hiding amongst the people, so we had to do it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I mean, they've got, like I said, all this fucking spy technology. They got Pegasus, right? So that, so if these guys did have phones, which they don't, because we found out that the flip phone thing, that's what they went back to, because they know that these guys that they have Pegasus. So they're like, hey, we got to take it back. We're using flip phones and pagers. And then that's where that fucking big thing happened with the exploding pagers, right?
See, yeah. Now that,
where Israel said, oh, that wasn't us, but most certainly was.
Well, I do think they claimed it.
Did they? Oh, okay.
After the fact.
I thought they didn't, because there were so many cases where, you saw videos like where a kid or something was holding it, and then like, in a grocery store or something, or beside their mom, or, when it went off, and then like there goes their head.
Yeah. And that's supposed to be the real casualty of war. Like the kid wasn't supposed to be holding it. Like,
yeah. Like, I mean, if you're putting 3,000 bombs out and you set them all off at once, like, you're going to be hitting, but it's like, oh, well, that's the price that you got to pay for war. But like, again, like, there's not that many fucking guys. Like, you know where to find them. You've got a pretty good idea. You know what targets they're probably going to be hitting. You know what places they're probably going to be living. Mm-hmm. Like, they knew, oh, they're hiding under that hospital. They thought really for sure there. Like, they could have flooded the tunnels, like filled them with water so that these guys had to come out at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
There's so many different things. They could have gassed them even, like fucking gas the tunnels, like just filled them full of carbon monoxide. And then eventually whoever was down there would have died. Yeah. But, if they didn't come out and be like, we surrender, right? But, I think their excuse for that kind of oh, well, we've got our hostages. So they've got our hostages, so we can't just gas it. They put them in danger, but then they're just bombing the place anyway, indiscriminately, right? So
Yeah. Like, or use the excuse like, oh, there's children down there, we have to save them, but they'll bomb a building with like 10 children in it. Like,
yeah, I mean, like, I always try to break it down into like a smaller situation. So, if you had like a movie theater or something and there was some terrorists that had taken it over and then they took everyone from the crowd's children and like kind of piled them in front of them, like as a human shield, the police, there's no situation where the police are going to bust in there and fucking just be like, well, we got to take these guys down and start gunning down the children with the guys and be like, that's how shit goes sometimes. Right.
yeah.
Like there's no situation. They're going to work it out. And if for some crazy reason these guys made it out of there, they're going to be tracked, right? Like they're going to be followed and they're going to be, watched out for.
Yep.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there's like not really any major hostage situations that have ever turned out for the hostage, taker. No one's ever taken over a bank full of things and then got his plane and then made it to the tarmac and then flown away anywhere,
I think that we know of.
Yeah, well, maybe.
I think that'd be the kind of shit they want to bury. Like they don't want anybody to know somebody got it. Whoa, somebody got away with it?
Yeah.
It's
well, I mean, there was that
possible?
one time, right? That guy fucking, I forget his name, like not Dillinger, but it was like, he's got some name. Oh, fuck. It's like, I almost want to say Salinger, but I don't think that's it. But anyway, he was a famous guy who him and another person robbed a bank and then they made it to the airport and the police gave them a plane and then they actually took off and Buddy had a parachute and he fucking jumped with the bag of cash and he got away.
Oh, yeah.
And that I think is the only successful hijacking in American history
That they've spoken of.
Yeah, I guess.
There's one in British history that it took a while for them to speak of. They made a movie of it.
I mean, like if you see a big fucking heist, they're not hiding any heists. If anyone takes over a bank with hostages, the police have it surrounded. Like that's on the news, right? So the outcome of that, right? There's no situation where like those guys got away and then they covered it up, right?
Well, in this movie, the reason why they got away was because the bank that they stole from, one of the safety deposit boxes had some pictures of a royal member down in Jamaica having a little bit too much fun. So that was part of the deal. Like, we get to keep the money and go away if we don't say anything about these pictures, and they just go away.
Right.
And that deal was just like, okay, sure. The royal family was just like, yeah, replace the money, all of that. We'll take the pictures. You guys go free. And they made a movie of it.
Really?
Yeah, it took that. So I'm not ready to rob any banks anytime soon. When I was in Cambodia and I was in the mall, I went to a bank in there and they had zero vault. Like zero. They had stacks of money on countertops, just like out in the open free.
Wow.
Yeah, American money too.
Wow.
Stacks on stacks. It was just like, whoa.
Wow. Because like you don't fucking probably rob around there. You're like,
yeah,
they just gun you down.
Yeah,
right?
they'll just gun you down right there, like right in the store.
There's no taking you to court and being like, oh,
yeah,
fucking charging you. You're going to jail. Like, it's just like a.
And if the police say, like, why is there a dead guy in here? He tried to steal the money. Oh, okay.
Yeah. What money? The cops are looking at each other. What money?
Yeah.
He tried to steal the money. What money? No money here.
Maybe they'll just try to float. Like, he got away with it.
I'm retiring.
Yeah. This dead guy stole the money. Well, where's the money now? Yeah. Well, he stole it.
Ask him.
End of story.
Womp womp.
Yeah. So the fact that these text messages leaked, it is concerning, because you were hitting on a point I kind of want to underline, is that you were saying like they have Pegasus and they'll find you no matter where you are.
Yeah.
But then the execution is like, they got big bombs. That's cool. But they don't seem to do what they say. It's so weak to the, maybe they're just threatening all this stuff and they really don't have it.
Well, that is exactly the point of the nuclear scare that we were kind of discussing before. The whole idea that nuclear weapons are possibly something that were invented by scientists. Just the idea of a nuclear weapon that would keep people, like the same way that UFOs keep people thinking about, like, oh, what if, like what if maybe misdirection, like what if everything's coming from space? We got aliens coming from space. Like what if we've, every country or certain countries have this giant bomb that fucking will destroy things.
Yeah. Oh, that the nuclear bomb itself was kind of a hoax.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like, if you ever watch footage of like the original, like tests of the nuclear bomb and stuff, they're showing all the like houses being exploded and shit like that. Right. But it's like, why isn't the camera moving?
I saw that. And that is a good point.
Yeah.
Why isn't the and there's some,
and the radiation, like for the distance of how in focus all that shit is and stuff, like they would have like the film would be all fucked up, like, from the, radiation and whatnot, right? Like there's so many things that don't make sense of it. Then you show a forest, they show a forest getting exploded and like all the trees look like they're all glued in place, like all in a row, like a bad hair transplant basically.
Yeah.
And then they cut to look at the devastation, and then they show a forest that like looks like it might have been like exploded by like some other means, dynamite or something.
Yeah, TV has really fucked us up for information.
Yeah.
Lemmings aren't even like, well, lemmings are real, but they don't jump off cliffs.
No, right? That was a documentary trick, right? I think it was Disney. Might have been a Disney documentary, like from the 70s, I think it was.
Yeah, it was some asshole chasing them off a cliff, and they taped
throwing them off a cliff. I think pretty much. They were just taking them, and like one guy was off screen throwing them off the cliff. Yeah, and he's like, after one goes, they all go.
So then when you say that nuclear bombs, maybe we don't have the right information on them. Yeah.
Well, just think how fucking. First of all, how much can you trust any government, whether it be Russian, whether it be American, Chinese? Like, which one do you trust, right?
The Canadian one.
Yeah, the Canadian one. We'd never lie to you, eh? But so all these guys, and how fucking eager they are to get into war and to test their fucking weapons, even like COVID's kind of an example of that, like how eager they were to test these new fucking, bioweapons that they have, right?
Yeah.
Like whether it was on purpose or fake, but it's stuff they're working on, right? So if they actually had nuclear weapons from that long ago, there's no way anyone would have kept them under wraps, like somebody would have used it by now, even if it was just, a show of force. And they always say like, oh, somebody set off a nuke. Russia might have set off a nuke at, this place or whatever. There's always a rumor that like a country had, they think North Korea might be testing nuclear bombs. Like you either fucking know or you don't, right? Yeah. Like there's no way North Korea is doing something fucking testing nuclear bombs and America doesn't know with all their fucking satellites. Like we said, like they've given press conferences where they're like, we can fucking read the license plate on a car. Like, remember that movie Enemy of the State with Will Smith?
Yeah.
That was the thing in that fucking movie, right? Gene Hackman's like, look at this. We can fucking read this license plate from space. And like, that was shit that they were, showing us in like 2002, 2003, right? When that movie came out.
Yeah.
Like and if they're showing it there, that means they probably had that technology for a good, 15, 20 years probably. So I bet you in the 70s. And I think somebody like, maybe it was Bob Lazar or something like that, but they were talking about hearing some person in the government talking about stuff that they had, and they're like, oh yeah, like, you know, like we could see fucking you know, like a city away basically with our like telescopes that we have and stuff like that, you know, like we could see an entire city away into a fucking skyscraper there. You know, like we have these extreme magnification technology that we can use on, like, you know, satellites. That's how they see stuff from space and whatever. And they've got telescopes they can use it for and whatever, right? So I'm sure they mount them on planes, spy planes, and all kinds of shit.
Yeah. So, like, we just built these things and just set them aside and did nothing with them.
Yeah. Like, how many nuclear bombs does America? They're always like, oh, America has like 1,000 nuclear bombs. Russia has like 500 nuclear bombs. China is now like the leader in nuclear bombs, or close to. They think, like, you know, and then maybe North Korea has a bomb, and fucking we know Israel isn't supposed to, but we know that they do have some nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
How many? We don't know, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, there's no way that they've got 1,000. Like, what are you going to do with 1,000 fucking nuclear weapons, right? Like, if you can't even use one, what are you going to do with 1,000? Oh, like they think, oh, they always want us to think of that fucking scenario from like war games when like everyone's shooting missiles at each other all at once, because that's what their systems are designed to do, right?
Yeah. If
America's being attacked. What? We got to send all our rockets at them. They're sending all ours at us, and then some other country like China or something's just standing there with their fucking fingers just wiggling because they know these guys are killing each other. I'm going to clean up the spoils, right?
Yeah.
Like, these countries would be that dumb to do that.
That's what's kept us, and we've been kept in a balance this whole time over that.
Right? But they've got no fucking hesitation when it comes to actually doing some fucking war where they want to like go in somewhere, and they send their planes and they drop huge bombs, fucking 20,000 pound fucking bombs on these, you know, places that are like, oh, they're like, that's, you know, using 1,000 sticks of dynamite or whatever, right? Like, massive explosions, but they're like, they draw the line at fucking a nuclear.
So, knock on wood, and I'm super glad that it's been this way. But if you think anybody would have used one by now, you think it would have been Russia.
Right.
They've been at war for what, 3-4 years now?
Yeah. And
years.
And I mean, they had it 4 years after we got it, or after America got it.
Yeah.
Right. So like, that's when they would have been at their most, you know, like the most likely time to have used it.
Yeah. At any point, like the casualty loss that they've had, it has been massive. Like, even if like you're trying to say, well, no, in ratios, it's not that much, but it's still like, let's say at least 1,000. They lost 1,000 men of their own countrymen to this cause that is just wheels spinning in mud.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ukraine, they're holding on. They're surprising the world by fighting a superpower and winning. And
only because everyone's supporting them, right? It's like basically a nerd fighting a fucking jock in a fight, and then he's got like 5 or 6 buddies behind him that are throwing punches at this guy when he's, you know, when he's not looking, and then he's like, boy, I'm doing really good here.
yeah.
You know, I got a chance. And then any one of those friends back, well, I got to get to class, you know, and then you're going to get fucking pummeled.
And at no point that like the nerd has a gun in his pocket and he's not going to fuck this and shoot the nerd, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, he could end it at any time. He's like, I could just like kill you by breaking your neck.
Yeah.
And I've got a gun in my pocket. Yeah, but I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to keep beating you. And every once in a while, one of his friends comes up there and slaps him. Like,
yeah.
Hey, take that.
Oh, slap me again. Watch what I do to this kid. You want to do that again? Right. So, but, and again, knock on wood, because if anybody's going to do anything, it's going to be because Trump's in power.
Right.
Before it was USA might jump in and just they're all jumping on Russia, and they don't have Snowball's chance.
Yeah.
Well, now the opposite is true.
They've been trying to figure out ways, as they normally do, to get the U.S. involved, right? I mean, technically, that's what the underlying theme has been, is that this is a proxy war for America. It's like America can't start a war with Russia, so they're looking for someone else that will fight the war, and they can just back them and be like, hey, look, we'll help you fight the war, and win it. And then when you win, then we can, get the spoils or whatever, right? But they know they're not going to win. And now everyone's going on shows and being like, well, we knew this was a losing cause all along, but we had to do it. And like 1.5 million people, I think, have died just in Ukraine. Like, just their people have died in this war so far.
Oh, that's the number. Yeah.
And then I think in Russia, it's like 20,000 people or something.
Yeah.
Like some, like large, but minuscule amount compared to the like million plus that have died in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Because they're as they lose their soldiers, which was very fast, then they fucking started scooping up just regular people off the street. Like, oh, you're fucking an old man who can still walk? Get in the van,
Yeah.
Here's your rifle, And then they get out there and leave them on a street corner, and they're like, what am I doing? Shot in the head,
Yeah. And I heard recently, I'm going to have to get this backed up, that the people on the land that's being fought over want to be Russian.
Yeah, probably. I mean, you'd have to look into it more, but that's the same thing that happened in World War II with the Nazis, like in Poland or whatever. That area, it was an area of Poland, and it was a German area that got annexed into Poland, I think during World War I, when Germany lost, all land and, all that kind of shit. Right. And so these are like a German speaking people that were living in Poland. Yeah. And then they were starting to get persecuted. Like, people were like, killing them, and fucking, they were being treated like second-class citizens and whatnot. And so Hitler was like, oh, I have to help these people. They're asking for help, and they're Germans. And then that was his thing, was like, I'm just going to help Germans. And then everyone's like, you can't go in there. That's Poland. And then it turned into that whole situation of him invading Poland, right? But it was more that it was because he was just trying to help these German speaking people there.
Also remake it, like extending the Black Forest for hunting ground.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I spoke about that in the last one. The Siegfried.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, when they tried to put the mythical beasts, Jurassic Park, in there.
Right.
Yeah. And
but yeah, so here you got Putin doing the same thing, right? Like, he's like, oh, this area that we want to take back from Ukraine is Russian speaking, and they're like people that want to be part of Russia.
Is it right for the world to step in and say, okay, wait, no, hold on. We're not doing this by fighting. We're doing this by democracy. What do the people vote for that live there?
Yeah,
because the people, the way they want to raise and who they want, they should decide.
Yeah, well, I mean, they should, but we know how things work in those kind of governments, right?
So, like, let's put ourselves in their shoes. Say they put Canada to a vote of who wanted to be American and who didn't.
Right.
99, like, I know 99% of us are going to say, like, no, I want to be Canadian.
Right.
Okay, so there's that vote. We're going to stay Canadian because that's what we want. But if our own government is shit and then America is looking good.
Yeah.
And then, like, hey, do you want to be American? Here's the vote. We'll come in. We just have to push your government over. And if the people said, yeah, I actually do want you to come in.
Right.
If it's a democratic vote, then the people of the land want to be that.
Yeah.
Let them. Yeah. You failed as a government to hold your own people. I would say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we're moral enough where, like, say in my scenario, it's China, and we're just like, yeah, Canada, you've failed us. China, come on in. And if we knew ahead of time China was the way it was, and they're only the way they are because they've done it on the backs of many people, we probably wouldn't want it.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel pretty good about that.
Like the slavery and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. If they came in and like, yeah, you'll be just like us, all shiny and happy and everything, but anybody who's Arab is getting slaved. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to swallow that pill.
Yeah. No, I don't want that. I don't want that. But
we all do. I mean, we know that shit's going on in China, and we buy all their shit.
I have an iPhone.
Yeah. iPhones and anything else. I mean, like probably that board.
Oh,
you know? Bet you it says made in China on the bottom.
No, actually.
Look it up. Let's flip it over and see.
Rode is
German or something like that. I don't see any markings on the bottom. Oh, wait, there's a sticker there. What's that say?
Serial number.
Rode,
as far as I knew, I saw some microphones that are made in Australia.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Nice little curveball there. Yeah. So if this is an Australian made device, good on it. It's solid.
Yeah, indeed.
There's a few synthesizer manufacturers out of Australia that are kind of up and coming right now, making waves. Yeah. Greece, the boutique, for the hobby.
Right.
Yeah. Someone decides to make it out of their garage. Business takes off. Be all
right.
Yeah, it's neat.
I almost fucking moved to Australia for a bit to like go work for a while.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I wish I'd done it because I don't know if I'll ever make it there now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of hard unless you still lived back in BC, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think they still have COVID restrictions there and stuff though, too. Like, I don't think I think you can't get in there without like COVID vaccines and stuff.
Wow, that's kind of surprising.
I think, yeah. I don't know. I'd have to look into it, but
they were supposed to be the one country that didn't have any problems at all.
Yeah, well, I guess they kind of claimed. But I mean, look at their harsh lockdowns. I mean, they're on an island, so it's a little easier too. But I mean, they were so crazy about their shit, right? Like they were flying drones, the same as us. But it's just like, I mean, you're on an island and like people are walking out on the beach and they're fucking flying drones and like arresting people for fucking going out on walks to the beach, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess
there's a crazy time everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm glad it's over. Kind of. I don't know. Yeah. It did leave a mark on the world that I don't think we're addressing.
Oh, well, it was a turning point, or I forget what you call that, like a fucking, milestone, like a cultural milestone.
Well, yeah, friends and family became completely different, going in one side and coming out the other.
Yeah. And like so many people became uncovered, like you learned so much about certain people and certain people that you thought, were thought a certain way were like proven to like not, think that way.
Yeah.
It was interesting. Like I remember hearing Noam Chomsky talking about like, oh yeah, like unvaccinated people should be, denied healthcare or something.
Oh, yeah.
Like he had some pretty extreme sounding views, right?
Yeah.
And I think he's an anarchist. I think that's how he describes his like political leanings.
Well, saying that everybody should be vaccinated, blah blah blah, that sounds very anti-anarchist.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The one guy I agreed with, I kind of like changed my mind about the whole COVID thing. he was refusing a vaccine. And like I was saying to him, I'm pussy, you know?
Oh, yeah, someone you knew.
Yeah. So I told him, I'm pussy. They tell me to get a vaccine, I'll get a vaccine. I don't care.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, see, the thing is I had COVID already a couple of times and it was no big deal.
Right.
I know I'm fine.
Uh-huh.
And you want to call me a carrier and this and that. Fine. But facts are, I'm wearing a mask, like you said.
Yeah.
And if I catch it, my body's fine. My family's fine. I'm not going to die from it.
Right.
So why are you making me get the vaccine?
Right.
You're saying I need the vaccine because I'm going to die from it. I know I'm not going to.
Yeah, I've already had it, which means I've got the antibodies, right? They were trying to change science. Like they totally just would not look at that fact. You couldn't bring that up to anyone, any kind of doctor or anything. They had a fucking flip around for it, you know?
That was a true fact. You know? If you felt like you were in danger, then yes, come get it. And if you made your choice not to get the vaccine, then I don't know. It mutates. So I guess.
But then as it mutates, it got less strong. So like every version of it that came up was like fucking less and less serious, right?
Yeah.
Till it was just a flu. Like the last iteration of it, they were like, "Oh, COVID's going around again," and like you weren't hearing anything about anyone, getting sick from it.
Delta strain, Omicron strain, or something like that.
Yeah, I think the Omicron was the last one I heard of, and that one they were saying was just like a sniffles. You got the sniffles, basically. So
yeah, then we got bored of it.
Yeah,
and we moved on. Now we got to outdo ourselves, and I think
shouldn't be hard.
Yeah, it might be Trump.
Bird flu. They're pushing it. They're pushing bird flu, like, oh, killing birds all across the U.S. And like, I think they tried to kill some in Canada. They're like going to people and like test and be like, oh, we found one bird that's got this bird flu. You got 3 million birds here. Kill them all.
Yeah.
Because we can't have it spread through them. Once it spreads through, then it's going to be a big pandemic.
Yeah. That's an awful thought because,
they're destroying that's why I don't know if you know about it's not here because we haven't had it spread over here, but like in America, like eggs are like fucking like $8 a carton right now because like
they don't have any chickens.
They don't have any chickens. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they can grow an egg from once it has that bird flu, like the whole chicken's done, right?
I don't know. I really don't know how it works. I'd have to look into it. It just sounds like a bullshit thing to me.
Yeah. It doesn't cluck, it coughs.
As soon as I hear anything, like a mainstream news story, right away I'm thinking the opposite. Just to start, not believing it, but like the news is like, oh, there's a new strain of something. Then I'm like, okay, well, that's something that like I don't have to worry about.
Yeah,
I hear them talking about it, unless it's like unless they're showing me like the bodies. I mean, but then that's what they did with COVID, right? They were showing like fucking trucks of looked like bodies and stuff like that. Like they were getting ready to prep people, saying they didn't have storage for all the bodies that were started to pile up in some places.
Yeah, which was true.
I don't think it was.
You don't think it was?
I don't think it was. Like every time they said, oh, like fucking every place is off the hook. Like I had people like family that worked in healthcare and they said, oh, well, our particular hospital, there's nobody here. It's a ghost town, right? And everyone, oh, well, it's the other ones. It's all, it was always another hospital. That's the one where all the people are going to.
Yeah.
But the narrative was, oh, we can't have the fucking system being overwhelmed, right? The system's going to get just overwhelmed with bodies and they're going to be piling up to the ceiling. And, it was so easy to fucking see through the bullshit that it was hard to digest that people were believing it so easily. You know, like me and my wife fought so hard during that whole time. Like every day was a fucking battle about something because like, you know, the news would come on about something and I'd be like, oh God, that's bullshit. And she would be like, that's not bullshit. You don't know anything.
It's so hard because we have to trust something.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it always comes down to. You have to trust something. And they've just, you know, shown mainstream sources over and over again that they just can't be trusted. So I figure trust the opposite of the mainstream first and work my way backwards. So if they say like, oh, you know, like this disease is coming out, watch out, it's going to be really dangerous. Then I'm going to think, okay, it's really not that dangerous. And then I start researching it and see like, how dangerous is this thing? And then try to work my way backwards, right? Thinking it's not dangerous, but then like, you know, researching how dangerous is it and what's the proof that it's dangerous, you know?
Yeah.
And then being like, okay, well then it's easier to pick out the objective data, I guess.
Yeah. I caught it myself and it was pretty gnarly for me, even with vaccines. But the vaccines were getting gnarly with on me too.
Yeah, right. Like those side effects from the vaccines.
Yeah, after the last one I had, I made a decision. Like, if they got any more, like, no, thank you. It's getting worse and worse with everyone.
Mm-hmm. And everyone that I mean, personally, that I know that got COVID that had the vaccine, it was really rough on them. They said they had a hard time with it.
Yeah.
Me, I didn't take a vaccine. And when I got it and then I got tested, I was really worried. I was like, oh no, I got this thing. Like, hopefully it's not as fucking bad as they say. And I fucking was just in my bedroom and I just like watched TV in bed and like just tried to keep my eyes awake because it was like, I was just so fucking tired. And yeah, I had a sore back. That was the other thing. Like my lower back was like, oh fuck, I just couldn't get comfortable. It was like my fucking back, man. And I just kept like rocking and rolling, but I was so tired. And then like I woke up the next day and I was fine. And like I was like, that can't be it. And then so all day I was just like laying in bed. My back was sore, but like I wasn't as tired. And then I had to stay, you know, my wife kept me in there for like a couple days basically before she let me out.
Yeah. I know someone who got energy from it. Like he knew he was sick. He had the sniffles, but he goes, but I felt great. Like I had lots of energy. My work said stay home. So he built an addition on his house in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think he took extra time after.
Oh, okay.
I just want to make sure. Yeah. Stay home. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
You did a good job.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So it's pluses for some people were completely asymptomatic.
Yeah.
They would catch it, not even know, and their body would just eat it up and spit it out.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild to me.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like now what they learned about it and how it affected people, I mean, it kind of came down to like vitamin C, vitamin A, you know,
D.
like D was a huge one, right?
D was a really big one.
D, A, and C, I think, you know, like those were like the big ones. So, and maybe magnesium or something too. But, you know, if you had good levels there, then like you didn't even fucking register. And if you had like low levels on one, you probably got it. And like it didn't hit you as bad depending on your health, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Last summer I got a flu that was it was different. It wasn't COVID,
Right.
and it wasn't a regular flu.
Yeah.
It was a different kind of bug.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was something like if I got tested and they're just like, whoa, what's that? But I just kind of weathered the storm and it's gone.
Yeah. We, our family, I remember it was probably the year after all the COVID stuff, like after we all had COVID and whatever, it was like about a year later. And, actually it might have been last year. I think it might have been this fucking month last year. Cause I'm thinking, my whole family ended up getting a flu and it was horrible. It was really rough. Like the kids actually brushed it off not bad. Like they were vomiting and stuff like that, but like it only lasted for a night. But like I got it and lasted like 2 days, and I was just like on the couch, like,
Yeah.
and it was rough. Like, you know, compared to when I was like, oh my God, like when I had COVID, I just like breezed through. And then, you know, I think we tested ourselves. Like we had swabs and stuff like that from other, you know, like they give them out for free now, basically, I think. And yeah, she was like, oh, my wife got it first. And she's like, oh, like, give me a test. And we tested her and she didn't have it. And then like I got tested after, I think. And then, yeah, I didn't have it either. So we were like, it must be some sort of just fucking flu. And it was just fucking, it was vicious. I was like, oh my God, like if this had been COVID, I would have been really worried. But I was just like on the couch, just like dying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Burned through the whole family. But yeah, like there's always that kind of shit, you know?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I wasn't worried originally about the COVID thing. I was like, you know, it's just going to be like another flu, I'm sure.
Yeah. Like, knock on wood, I don't want to be sick like that again, because maybe in my age I'm getting less tolerant, and I'm really hating the thought of being in that mode and then it go deeper where it's just like, oh shit, my life might end.
Right.
You know? But cup half full. When I'm sick like that, dreams are fucking awesome. Like extra vivid.
Right.
Like, yeah. Yeah. Like I'll be watching a movie and then just like knock out and live a whole entire life.
Oh, that's cool.
And then just kind of like wake up like, oh shit, what time is it? And only a half hour went by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh, I love that. That part is super fun.
I don't dream very much anymore. Like I only dream like once in a while, like maybe once every couple months kind of thing, because smoking marijuana, like, yeah, suppresses your dreams. Or so I've heard.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently.
Seems to be my case.
Or different medications and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Certainly.
Yeah. I do hear if you do the nicotine patch, that's a guaranteed way to get nightmares.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's like a light switch.
Oh,
like you, once you go on a certain,
that's interesting.
Yeah. Anti, tobacco or nicotine, cessation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to try that sometime.
Yeah. If you want to induce a nightmare.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man, I bet you that's like shit they do to you in Guantanamo Bay or something, you know? Like fucking like keep you up for like 3 days and then fucking like give you something to like knock you out, and then they like slap you with like fucking 5 or 6 nicotine patches and like you're just like, you know, in a pit, like having a fucking nightmare.
Yeah. I wonder if I ever get into one of those situations, like I always run through different scenarios in my head.
Sure.
Stuff I'm never going to be in.
Yeah. Like what if I got sent to Guantanamo Bay?
Yeah.
How would I handle it?
What if I got jailed where I know I'm not getting out?
Yeah.
And they start torturing? Might as well lean into it.
Right.
Yeah. It's going to suck. You don't want to be there. I don't want to be there. But you're both doing a thing. They want information that you don't have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Might as well lean in. Hopefully it ends, you know.
What, like you like lie to him? Just be like, oh, fuck. You want Mickey Blue Eyes? He's got all the information there.
Yeah.
He had the bomb. He took it over to the house. I'll tell you anything. Or you just fucking, or you just try to waste their time. You know, they're like fucking beating you and you're just like, you know, like singing a song or something like that, you know?
Yeah. Singing a song about his lame shirt, or,
yeah,
you know, if I bleed, I try to make sure he gets on him as much as possible.
yeah,
You know, something like that.
spitting on him.
Yeah.
Class, that's all you got, you pussy.
Yeah.
Egg him on. Probably not a good idea.
Yeah. Try to make him laugh as hard as possible.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of stuff. But it is a little bit of a segue into a post I saw on Reddit recently.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy, and I can't trust anything on that site, but still, let's just entertain it. He befriends a homeless dude in his town.
Right.
And this guy claims that he was homeless because he had found fraud in the healthcare system and was suing. And there was this big whole thing that it was he had a stress response where he went catatonic for a month. And during that month, landlady and just everybody around him screwed him. So he was already mentally unstable.
Threw all his shit away and whatever.
Yeah. So he's just out on the street, and he's been out on the street ever since. He had a jump drive. His previous life, he was a Satanist, and then Freemason, and dipped into all that,
right?
And went down all those paths, and wrote books under a pseudonym. And these books have since been pulled from the internet by him because he considered what he did was evil.
Okay.
So the people that have had experienced it said that it's different drones. He wrote the music. And by music, it's different drones and chimes in a certain kind of way. And you're supposed to read the story yourself out loud.
Okay, so that's what's on this drive?
Yeah, or this was some of his content.
Right. So
that you used to be able to get.
So on the thumb drive that this homeless guy had, he had this like 2-hour song that he wrote.
Or just different pieces.
Right, but you're supposed to listen to while you read out loud his movie idea.
Yeah, like song 2 is page 2, song 3 is page 3.
Right. But like as the song is playing, you read out, okay, so then this guy goes to the place, and then, like his movie idea, basically.
Yeah, more like a poem, more like a Shakespeare kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. And every person that had used it said that the weird trick about it is once you've done that, when you dream that night, it's the same dream or movie every time, and people report the same thing.
Sure. They have a dream about what they read.
The idea is this audio track in this poem is a trigger to induce that.
Sure.
So you can sort of expand on that and plant seeds in people's heads to induce certain dreams.
Okay.
That was supposed to have come from his satanic teachings. And that was what he saw was evil.
Okay.
And that it's supposed to tie to Masonic as well. And then I tried to start finding okay, so let me hear one of them.
Yeah.
I want to read one. I want to test it.
And?
Can't find dick all.
Oh, okay. So it's like a creepypasta, basically.
Could be.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I think I read someone's comment below and below the story, and it said I want to know who inserts a thumb drive from a homeless guy into their computer to see what's on it. You know, instant virus.
Yeah, that's a tough sell.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, this homeless guy. So I took his thumb drive and I put it on my computer. Guess what I found?
Yeah.
You want to look, but then you're like, wait a minute, who would do that on a fucking computer? Take it to the library, maybe.
What I like the idea of is listening to the crazy people.
Yeah. Well, every once in a while, they tell you the truth.
Or even just a broken clock is right 2 times a day.
Yeah.
So they're going to land on something. But how do you know what's the right one? You got to wade through a lot of shit to get to any kind of golden nuggets.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I like listening to crazy people too, but you got to just take it with a grain of salt, right?
Yeah. Crazy people, 10 times out of 10, you start agreeing with them and then it starts turning from that point.
Right.
Oh, okay. And can you explain that further? what do you mean by that, you stupid fuck? And then they get all angry and it's, this is not the right. I was well intentioned.
Have you ever heard of targeted individuals?
Oh, that believe that they're being targeted.
Yeah.
So is there something to that now? Well,
there's like a whole network. I've heard many of them on different radio shows talk about it, and they're like very rational and like, you know, I swear I'm not crazy, but like this is what happened. Like, you know, I came across this, or sometimes it's like information they found, you know, kind of like this, you know, person, you know, like hypothetically this homeless guy, right? You know, like you come across like some kind of fraud or something like that, and then all of a sudden you know you're starting to get these like weird headaches or something like that, and then you can hear a voice in your head that's like telling you that you're crazy or to kill yourself or something like that, right? Like that's what these people claim. You know, they're like, I can hear a voice as clear as day, you know, and it's telling me like, oh, you need to kill yourself. You're worthless and this and that, right? And they're like, can hear the voice. That was perfect. Yeah. But so, I mean, that's what they believe. So I, before I ever knew about targeted individuals, I met one.
Oh,
and he was, the brother of a good friend of mine, this girl. And she was like, yeah, listen, my brother's a little off. So like, you know, don't like tease him or anything about it. Cause like, he's going to bring this like weird thing up, but like, you know, just go with it or whatever. Right. And so I was like, okay, well, you know, I won't tease him about it or anything. And it's like, so we were hanging out with her brother, and he was like, going on about fucking how he hears voices and stuff in his head, and you know, right away you're like, oh, he's kind of schizophrenic or whatever. And he's like, yeah, he was like, I know you're probably thinking I'm schizophrenic or something, but he's like, I'm not. He's like, I even know where these people are. I've been tracking them. And he's like, so his whole thing was that he thought that there was a church in like we were living in Kamloops, right? He thought that it was a church in Kelowna, which was like, you know, probably like, you know, a few cities away.
Yep.
And he thought that, you know, somehow this fucking church, which was like, I forget what kind they were. It's like, you know, like the Sunshine something church. And it was a real church because we looked it up. And he claimed somehow that they were involved in it. And they were trying to get him to come join their church. Like come to Kelowna and join their church and stuff like that. And he's like, I've contacted them and told them to leave me the fuck alone.
You know what I'm tempted to do as like a knee-jerk reaction is go to that church myself and just gather intel.
Yeah.
Covertly.
Sure. Yeah. Just like park outside and watch them and fucking follow them around. Maybe a few of them. Like, yeah. It'd be the kind of thing like if you were rich, you know, and like you were trying to investigate this thing, you know, if you were like a billionaire or something, you didn't know how to spend your money. You'd be like hire a fucking private investigator and shit and like look into that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Try to validate. That'd be such a neat way to spend my money if I won the lottery.
You know what? We just wrote a fucking TV show. Like that's totally a show, like some like fucking billionaire kid who like wants to like uncover the mysteries of the world, and like that's his fucking thing. You know, he hires like a detective or whatever, and like that would be the show, right? Him and this detective are going around, you know, like looking into all these paranormal cases and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, well, as long as you're paying me, you know, like he finds this crazy guy who's basically like just like, you know, doesn't believe in any of this shit, but he's like, hey, I'll fucking look into it if you're going to pay me, you know, and then they fucking go on these wild adventures, you know, looking into all this crazy paranormal stuff.
Wow. You know what? That might, because I spoke about torture, that might take some torture. And we need a PI that would like go there and do those things.
Yeah.
Like, cause you know, some people are going to claim that they saw something or there was something right until the last breath, right?
Yeah. Well, this is the kind of thing we're talking, you know, like one of the episodes could be like this fucking rich guy and he's like, okay, like I'm just going to get you to fucking park outside there and follow the pastor or whatever, you know, and then that guy's like, okay, well, if you're going to pay me to fucking sit there and do it, right? Then like, you know, they spend a week fucking following people around and he's like, oh, you crazy kid. There's nothing here. And then they actually find out that there is some, you know, fucking Pizzagate shit going on with this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or they really are fucking like, you know, getting in people's heads somehow or whatever it is, right?
Oh yeah. Like
That's a real technology, right? It's called voice to skull technology. I mean, they invented it fucking years ago. It was proven that you could hear a voice in your head if you used certain frequencies and stuff like that. And it just so happens that HARP kind of works on those frequencies.
yeah, well, bone inductive speakers.
Yeah.
That's like a super common thing on sunglasses, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like sometimes they'll have a speaker that's just kind of pointed at your ear, but there's enough that will put the speaker on the bone on the back of your ear and it just reverberates inside your skull.
Sure.
And you hear it that way.
Yeah. That must be a little odd.
But it kind of proves your point, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think one thing to be careful of is the cult of personality around these UFO guys with the answers to these kind of things. They build upon the last thing that happened. One guy that they're talking a lot about right now is Jason Sands. Have you heard that name?
Nope.
He's the security guard that claims he saw a blue alien.
Where?
On a military base.
Oh, okay.
And it was a cringy story.
Sure.
But there's enough to prove that he was kind of bullshitting, but
sure.
At the same, like it's
hard to believe anyone that worked on a military base because like there's so many documents and stuff proving that the CIA purposely puts people into the UFO community to like discredit the information and the people. And like sometimes they're even like popular fucking people in the community. You know, it would be like I'd imagine like that Greer guy. I bet you he's like I bet you he's part of that sort of thing. Where they're just like, okay, like someone along the line is like, you know, like maybe not even maliciously on his part, but it's like a useful idiot kind of thing. They're like, look, this guy thinks he's getting fucking leaks from someone. We'll feed him this information and, you know, tell him, oh, okay, like we got fucking aliens coming from Zeta Reticula, you know, or whatever it is. And then he thinks he's got the info and he's going to the UFO conferences and he's like, oh, I've been talking to these guys from Zeta Reticula and this and that. And then some other fucking lady who claims to be a medium, she's getting information where like, you know, like, oh, like the CIA gives her a fucking document or something. And they're like, look, you know, if you want to stay at the top of your game, we'll give you a little information. And then that way, you know, you stay relevant. You've got the inside track. So people are going to be listening to you, buying your books because you're telling information that's actually a little bit true here. But they don't know what's true and what's not, right? So that all they know is they've got fucking somebody high up that's giving them fucking inside information.
Yeah.
You know, and they've proven like in their own internal documents that that's how they spread misinformation is they just have a list of people and they give them documents. Some of it's true, some of it's not. And then once it gets out there, it just muddies the water.
Yeah.
Right. So you got all these people talking about, oh, there's fucking, you know, there's gray aliens. Then all of a sudden there's 83 different species of aliens. Right. And then, you know, they come from this system. They come from that system. They come from underwater.
I wish I knew the name of the guy who I think he was part of that Project Serpo, where the U.S. was they made an exchange program with aliens.
Right. Okay.
And people went and fought intergalactic wars and had like this big Avengers kind of life for like 20 years, but no time passed here.
Right.
And
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they regressed back in age and went back to being a kid.
Sure. there's that guy. I think his name is Randy Kramer.
Maybe.
I've heard a guy on a few podcasts who claims that exact story. He claims that he fought on Mars as a, like a colonel or something like that. And he's like, I was like 7 years old, and then they brought me there, and then I trained for 20 years or something. They showed me all these weapons. I fought all these people. I lived on Mars, and then like they sent me back to my exact age back in time, to when I was 7 again. And then like I kept my memories, I think he said.
Yeah. I think he was caught in saying, but this was all true in my in a meditative state.
Oh, maybe it's a different guy. This guy
maybe
I was
it's a
talking
different
about,
guy,
he was talking like it was like he was saying like, oh, his whole thing was like, my name's Randy Kramer, and my military code is 8156923.
Yeah.
And then the guy interviewed him was like, well, how do we know that you're telling the truth about this? He's like, it's against the law to claim to be part of the U.S. military if you're not. So he's like, I should be able to be arrested just for that, and like you could report me for that right now. And the reason that I'm standing here is because like every time I give all these credentials and whatever, they're true. Like if I was publicly stating to represent myself as an army person, right? Like you'd be arrested. Like if you showed up somewhere and you're like, oh yeah, I'm an army colonel, and you're trying to give information, people would be like, sir, you can't say that you're in the army here.
Yeah, but there might be like a just cause too. Like when they're looking at what kind of information they're giving,
right?
Maybe like what's that guy Kramer saying again? Oh, that Project Serpo bullshit. Whatever.
Yeah.
Am I really going to get up off of my couch, go down to where he is, scold him, bring him in, do all that work, or just let him go because no one's going to believe it anyways?
Right. Yeah. I mean, well, if it was true, I feel like they probably make the effort to get off the couch.
Right. But here that guy is free as a bird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just kind of running around.
And yeah, he's like, oh, well, it's too big for them to hide. Like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, that UFO that's too big to hide. I can't tell you though, that is what discredits the whole thing.
Right.
What makes me want to nope out of the whole thing is just like, there's so much, but I can't tell you any of it.
Mm-hmm.
So my new UFO theory is it's a trigger switch. Yeah.
For
whatever is really going on behind the scenes. Cause there's something going on behind the scenes of why the people above us act the way they do.
Sure.
We're kind of told that it's like, well, if you're in the world, then it starts to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But it just seems so off that there's something else.
Yeah.
I think it's like a rich and a poor. And if the poor start to catch on to the way they're doing things up there.
Right. That's when they trigger wars and shit like that.
Yeah,
because then you gotta
keep them distracted.
First off, you siphon off all the men. Right, the men are the ones who fight the wars traditionally. Right. I mean, even now, you get some women in the army, but you're gonna have majority is gonna be men. So there's all your young, strapping young lads who are gonna be your next fucking workforce, and your scientists and all that shit. Right, they're all going into to go fight. So that's a good way to get rid of a population, say you wanted to get rid of all the smart people in Russia and shit like that and cripple their economy. Well, you fight with them and kill off a bunch of their people.
Yeah.
And they got to spend time rebuilding and doing all that shit. It's like one of those strategy video games, right? Where you're getting attacked from one side, you got to rebuild your fucking fence and your hut over there, and
so what
resources.
What do you do when you're so good at that game, like you're kind of in God mode,
right?
But you needed this whole other sub game going, and the moment that they catch on, then the whole thing is over.
Right.
So I think UFOs is a trigger. They put all that kind of evidence out there because the one thing that like that they would like people, if we had a UFO or an alien, people should be storming those buildings.
Right.
I want to see it. This changes everything. You have the evidence.
Right.
Give it to me right now.
Yeah.
But none of us say that.
Well, there was that Storm Area 51 thing for a while there.
That just kind
That
of
was the closest, that guy's saying what we're all thinking.
yeah. But it kind of underlined my point, right? Like, oh, they're getting closer. Okay, so we got to do this. It was after that point things started falling into place with this, and we got tugged in that direction a little stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you're scratching back the surface of like the New World Order, basically, I mean, it goes down its layers, right? I mean, first of all, you uncover things and you're like, okay, we got the fucking robber barons, like, oh, you got Rockefeller and JP Morgan and all those guys. And they're like consolidating and buying up all, all the businesses so that they can own everything. Right. Like that was a well-known thing that was going on, even though it's like, like a mild conspiracy. It turns out it was a true thing. That's how they got all their wealth and consolidated power. Right. And then the more you research into it, you're like, okay, well, like what other things are they into? And then you see, oh, okay, well, on the back burner, they're like into Freemasonry and stuff like that. And then you look into the deep recesses of Freemasonry. And then you're like, okay, this kind of leads into Satanism and, other religions seem to also lead kind of into Satanism,
Yeah.
So they all kind of have a core, theme to them that tie into each other. And it goes back, then you look back, like how long does this go? And it's like the further back you go, it's like, okay, this is like thousands of years this has been going on, where you've got these like secret people behind the scenes that are running things by some sort of organization. It was Egyptian at one point, and then, then it was fucking Greek. They all had their fucking secret things that they were doing behind the scenes in ways that they were, kind of running the show. And then they would kind of just leak out the information that they wanted to the rest of the people, right? And nobody really knew what was going on behind the scenes. They just knew if things were working or not. And then they would demand a change. Oh, we need a new emperor or whatever, right? But
yeah,
was the emperor really fucking making all those decisions? But he's got a fucking council of people who are telling him about everything, right?
Yeah, and it's all to ensure people are safe and can live a life from life until death without being murdered.
Yeah,
or die of starvation, something like that.
Right. But even with all these rulers, you look back and they're like, they all tie back to religion. From the beginning, like you can't go back anywhere without coming across the religion that kind of ruled everything. Sumerians had their religions and fucking Egyptians had their religions. And these are all the people who are like fucking coming up with how we're going to, rule society.
Yeah. Even the in-between monkey men, they found out they had religion too.
Probably.
Yeah.
But then it all ties into each other. Like the religions are all, they gave birth to each other basically, like Catholicism was originally, it was the pagan religions, right? Like, you can see like it kind of has crossover with, the Egyptian mystery religions. And then it kind of got molded into this whole thing where they had Jesus and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
But that also spawned Islam. Like the whole thing with Muhammad and all that came from fucking Catholicism. And then Judaism, like that also came from fucking Catholicism.
Oh, yeah. Judaism is Christianity is Judaism 2.0.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, Judaism believes in the first half of the book. Christianity believes in the first and the second half.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And what I'm scared of is pushing towards a new one.
A new religion?
New religion. Yeah.
Well, they worked on a new religion in like the 70s and kind of wrote like a doctrine for it. The royal family, like I think Prince Philip wrote like a what do you call it? A declaration for a one world religion. Yeah.
I don't like the sound of that. Prince Philip?
Yeah. Yeah.
The same guy?
Yeah. The very same.
The very same guy. So what kind of new world order would he come up with? Did he write this chilling on Epstein Island?
I don't know. I actually, I should see like how public it was. I don't know if it was something that they wrote and then kind of declared that they wanted the world to kind of accept it, or if it was something they just wrote and kind of like is sitting in a back room somewhere and it's like a rumor or something, you know?
Hopefully they threw it in the fire after Prince Philip was found out.
Yeah. There was someone else famous that wrote it with him. I want to say, I forget who, but
yeah,
like some famous like psychiatrist or something, you know, was like helping him write it. And it was like the two of them wrote out this declaration for a one world religion.
How many times do you think he paused at the typewriter with just his hands floating above it, his jaw on the floor? What? No, age of consent. Let's dial it back. That must have been the hardest money he ever had to make.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
Let's not put that in there.
He's almost certainly involved in that, the high ups of that Epstein thing, right? Like,
yeah, he's still walking around.
Yeah, like, but his name was all over those files, right? Like,
yeah. No justice.
Never.
No. So, and I had to kind of confirm today. I gotta keep on saying I need citation. Linkin Park has a new singer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was on the radio, and I'm like, oh, this
isn't it a woman?
Yeah, and she icks me out. I heard a story. I don't know if it's true. And a lady in my office like, oh yeah, it is. So the story is she was at the trial of Danny Marson advocating for him. Danny Marson is a high up in Scientology.
The 70s guy?
Yeah.
Right. Matherson? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, he was on for a whole bunch of rape charges.
Yeah. No, I remember the whole thing.
And she was in the front of the line going, no, not him.
Yeah.
They're lying. And it was all religious.
I wonder if she's a Scientologist.
She is.
Oh, okay.
She is.
Well, you can't trust Scientologists.
Yeah.
So they're like the ultimate cult members.
Yeah, just like you're saying about religion and like getting away with the dumbest. This guy, okay, we got to say allegedly because it has the trial happened. Is it over? I don't know. I don't know the result of it. Maybe it was. He was completely in the right, but to have people from your church, standing up behind going, nope. Like, how about you shut up and let the trial happen?
Right.
Yeah.
They didn't need, they shouldn't have character witnesses. That's like fucking, Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher, right? They were like, did a Skype to advocate for him, to be like, oh, he's a good person. Like, we're asking you to give him a reduced sentence and whatever. And then it leaked through court documents or whatever that they did that, and then all of a sudden there was a huge backlash and fucking people were like, oh, you're fucking backing that son of a bitch, and then they had to put out another video that's like, we're really sorry, we didn't, we're not condoning the stuff he did, we're simply just trying to put in a good word for a friend with the judge. That was their excuse.
Yeah, but there's a large but, and where this gets sticky is you have people like Leah Ramey
Yeah.
coming out and talking about the horrors of it,
Yeah.
and that these higher up guys walk around like they are gods among men.
Yeah. Like apparently abuse them, like their underlings quite, intensely. Like physical abuse, like just walk up to someone, just slap them as hard as they can kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then they basically have them with, what do you call it? Like indentured servitude. Like, you sign up, like when you sign the Sea Org, you sign a 1,000-year contract with them. And that starts with the rest of your earthly years. So like these people are like just working with this organization. That's their job.
Yeah.
And, it's like working in like for Dr. Evil or something, you're like in a fucking cave, like, all wearing the same uniform, and you got to fucking like work in this hierarchy. Right. And if you fuck up, you're like cleaning the latrines. And I mean, you're in this base. They don't let you out.
Yeah.
You volunteered to be there and whatever, and they only pay you $1 a day or some, like slave wage, right? Because you're basically volunteering, and they're just like donating your pay, right?
Yeah.
You get paid a wage, but like not technically on the books. You're probably just, donating your time to the church, right? But like I remember probably in like 2005 or something like that, it was when I first heard about it, and I never believed Scientology. I always just knew it was fucking full of shit. You just never even looking into it, knowing now what I know of the occultness of it, how it was started, like, with Hubbard there, and then like, but he was also like connected to Aleister Crowley, like they were like best friends, and like also Jack Parsons, the rocket scientist.
Yes.
Who like, created NASA. And they did like sex magic fucking rituals in the desert and shit like that. And like, they would do all this crazy shit. And that's where some of the I guess rituals of Scientology came from, this like collaboration with Aleister Crowley and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I watched this documentary about people who are getting killed from Scientologists, like how they would like be working for them and stuff, and then they would just show up dead or something like that, and their bank accounts drained.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I believe that. I'd believe that.
Yeah. They found the most disturbing case was like this woman who they found her dead body. It was deemed a suicide, I believe, or maybe it was accidental, but drowning, but they found her in her bathtub, drowned in her bathtub, but her entire body was fucking scalded. Like she had been in a suit, like a hot boiling water. So like they just found her drowned, but it never was explained. Like, oh, she must have just like somehow drowned, and then like she left her hot water on and scalded her body, but they never explained like how the water got turned off, and like how it would have happened anyways, right? Like it just doesn't make sense, right? Like they just have to come up with some theory, like, oh, okay, she took a medication maybe or something like that, and just fell asleep in there.
Yeah, or she was forcefully drugged, killed in front of somebody. He turned on the hot water and then just dumped the body in there and left.
Yeah, or tortured for some reason, right? Like
yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, well, because there's other cases where like these people like do so like when you misbehave, they do this thing where they tie you to a giant fucking pole, and they put like a collar around your neck, and then you have to just run around the fucking pole, and like you just do that from sun up till sundown. Is just fucking all your energy just running around that fucking pole. That's your punishment for the, like instead of getting sent to a jail cell or something, they make you run around this giant fucking pole.
Man. Yeah, no thanks. Yeah. No, not for me. Not for me. And we got to worry about the new ones that are going to come up, the Scientology 2.0.
Right.
That's now I feel like that's my prediction.
Could have been the breatharians. But
yeah,
it just didn't catch on.
Well, maybe it's going to be Scientology mixed with a breatharian and a little bit of South American shamanism. All that's going to be the newest religion.
Scientology's on its way out for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
It's going to need something new.
Yeah, like from people who have left. Like there's been a few people who I've heard do some amazing interviews, and they are like ex-members who were in there for like 15, 20 years, and they're helping other people escape and stuff like that, and like deprogram other people and shit like that. And they said like basically, you know, it used to be like 50,000 people or, you know, 70,000 people worldwide. And I think right now, I think like they've got like maybe 12,000 people who are like worldwide Scientology members.
Yeah.
Right. Like not that much.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
Well, but you can imagine like it's hard to keep people, you know, in that shit. Well, you know, I mean, now in the world when all the information is out there, right? Like back in the day, probably a little harder to be that because like, you know, you're getting involved in all this and then you finally make it, you pay all your money and then they're like, here's book 2, you know, you're now OTO 1 or whatever. And you learn about the story of Xenu and fucking like, wait a minute, what?
How much did that book cost?
Yeah.
Yeah.
$100,000 or whatever it is for book 1. And then you're just like, you're learning just like the first chapter of this fucking story. And you're like, wait a minute, there's this like fucking, this like ancient demon who's like sucking our souls and putting them in a volcano. And yeah. And then you don't want to look stupid. You're like, oh, was this real? Other people, you're not going to ask the other Scientologists, did you believe that shit or what?
Yeah.
You know, you just know, oh, you're a number 1, 2, or you're a number 3, right? You gotta work your way up to those fucking high because they know it's the Freemasonry shit, right? Like you got to get them in the levels and like, you know, when you're in a level, your natural curiosity is to move up to a next thing. You're like, oh, there's a next level. Well, what's that? Oh, that's going to be better. Right? They've got all the good stuff and the good knowledge, right? You know, they've got all the good secrets and you want to know what those are.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the South Park how when there was hell, there was a whole bunch of people down there and like, hey, well, I was good. What the heck? Why am I down here? Just got the right answer was Mormon. Mormon was the right answer this whole time. Now let's move on. Like what? And then they showed what heaven was, and it was not anywhere you wanted to be.
Oh, that's funny.
It was all filled with Mormons that just want to do crafts.
Yeah, I never got into South Park really.
They had good episodes, good points, but I must admit I fell off but I didn't care enough to keep watching it.
I just found like it seemed just a bit too fucking, I don't know, silly, I guess. Like I felt like The Simpsons was at least more like it was silly, but it was like clever. Whereas like that was, I just felt like it was dumb humor, but like they might have had like, you know, some good points that they were making in certain ways and like trying to make a point a certain way. But, you know, it just didn't seem like all that clever to me, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Funny. Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah. You know, and more watching it now, my wife loved South Park, like everything about South Park. She just fucking loved it all. And so like now me watching it, I'm like, oh yeah, I can see it. It's kind of funny in certain ways and whatever. But like the earlier ones that everyone really, really liked, I didn't really find as much. I find the newer ones are kind of a little more interesting.
They are. They are compared to the old ones were just like shock value.
The killing Kenny constantly and like, you know, the poop fucking the poop guy. Mr. Teeny or something.
Hanky,
yeah.
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 Yeah. And I was thinking that myself is like we're pretty hurting for a good cartoon. The wife and I are watching the old Simpsons right now.
Yeah.
We're on season 4.
Oh wow! Oh, you started right at the beginning, eh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Going through all of them.
That'll keep you going for a while, like 30, 35 seasons or something.
Well, there's going to be a point where I can't take it anymore. I'm just doing this for nostalgia.
You should have started at season 3. That's where it gets good.
Yeah. No, that is very true.
Yeah.
Around season 3 where it gets good.
That's when Conan O'Brien was starting to write.
Yeah. Yeah. And I made a point to want to see the Twin Tower one.
Right. Yeah. You mentioned that last time.
Yeah, just to have those nostalgic bits. Like Homer being the astronaut.
Yeah.
And he's on the phone and he's like, "Hello, President Clinton." And there's a part of me that was like, "Oh yeah, I remember that when Clinton was the president." And
yeah, I remember like Lisa used to do like she'd play sax or something, and then they would have like Clinton, because I think Clinton played the sax or something.
Yeah, he did.
Right.
Yeah.
And so he'd be like, "Oh, Lisa, let's have a jam."
Yeah. Yeah.
They
all
did that
those
joke
like
a few times.
little bits of 90s. And I think the NASA space launch was beaten out by a Connie Chung Christmas. See, you and I can laugh, but there's a young generation that's going to be like, "What?"
Yeah, I know. I feel like it's going to be, like my kids' generation. My wife's always like, she doesn't want to watch The Simpsons. She's seen it too much or something. If I want to go watch old episodes, and then I try to watch them, and the kids, because she has put it in a negative light, they're like, "Oh no, I don't want to watch The Simpsons. That's dumb." You know, and like they just aren't any interested in it. As soon as I put it on, they're like, no.
Yeah. But
they'll appreciate it later, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's the kind of thing like teenagers are going to get into later. You know, there'll probably be a resurgence of it.
Maybe
if it ever leaves the air. I mean, it's still on, right?
Yeah. It might just like catch a second wind.
Sure. I mean, it's about writers, right? Really. If they just get good writers. I feel like the stories dropped off around season 25.
Yeah.
Maybe 23, somewhere around there.
It went up its own ass.
Yeah.
It started becoming, making jokes of itself.
Yeah. It became a shadow of itself, you know, like fucking, it was like a caricature of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was weird.
And I think what it was more built for and what it did really well was reflect the 90s. Beyond that, it just didn't fit. And
yeah.
That's what I think we're kind of hurting for, is like a good cartoon of today.
Yeah.
Like the Family Guy was good for like the beginning 2000s.
Yeah, that's the same thing, right? Like everyone had those fucking DVDs. The first like 3 or 4 seasons that came out, you know, like after it came back from being canceled and they put out that fucking DVD set, like everyone I knew everywhere had that. Like in BC, you know, it doesn't matter where they live, in Alberta, they all like, "Oh yeah, I got those fucking Family Guy DVDs." And then like we'd get stoned and watch those fucking shows.
Yeah.
Like you knew every episode.
Oh, me too.
There was only like 4 seasons, but like you watched every fucking disc and like everyone thought it was like the most clever, hilarious shit. And like now that show's like still on, right? Like I think they're on like season, like I think they're on like season 20 now.
Yeah, and I can't watch it.
It's the exact same. Like I think I saw an episode a while ago, and it's like, yeah, those like big convoluted fucking lead-ins to stuff, and
yeah, and it just doesn't seem funny anymore. So where's the next? Oh, Rick and Morty,
right?
That was the big one of today. But even that one is out. I don't think it survived too well past the one creator's kidnapping and rape. Yeah,
one of the creators.
Yeah,
he got kidnapped and raped.
No, he did it. He was the
Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, it was Morty. No, the guy's name is Justin Roiland.
So he's one of the creators, and he kidnapped and raped someone.
An underage girl. She was like 16, 17, something like that.
Wild.
Yeah. You know, he that show and the merchandise that came from that show was so huge. That guy had an endless amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the same kind of topic we're touching upon, of even these guys in high up in Scientology or just any organization. Too much power, and then you think you can kidnap and rape.
Yeah.
Like it's cool. Like, yeah, but I should be able to. I can have what I want when I want. Like, fuck.
Entitlement.
Yeah. That an entitlement I'll never experience.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
I mean, if too many people did, I mean, the world would just be psychos, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's another thing people always forget. Like, statistically, 1% of your population has psychotic, breaks.
Yeah.
So you have like 1% of people who are like psychotic and what's the other one? Not psycho, but
socio.
Yeah, sociopathic, right? Like, like that's a lot of people. Like, out of 1 million people, fucking, how many people would that be?
I wonder if that's a moving number.
1%? That'd be like 1,000. What? 100,000 would be 10, so it'd be 1,000 out of 1 million. So out of how many? 300 million in America.
Yeah.
Right? 100 million would be you'd have 1 million. 1 million would be psychotic. So you got at least 3 million in a 300 million people. So out of America, you guaranteed to have a minimum of 3 million people who are psycho and fucking sociopathic.
Yeah.
And where do those people go? They're not homeless, So, I mean, it might be a couple, but the majority of them seem to be running fucking companies as CEOs,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they can move lives around like they're nothing.
Yeah.
I myself had the misfortune of firing someone who just had a kid, and it was close to Christmas.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It fell on you, and they're like, you got to let this guy go.
Him or you?
Really? Is that what they tell you?
Oh, yeah. Well, the person who had above me at that time was just a total asshole. Yeah. And I probably could have pushed back, but I didn't. And I did my own sociopathic thing. And that was the first and last time. I'd never again. I would sacrifice my job before I do anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it rough or?
Oh, yeah. The disappointment in his voice. Never forget it.
Yeah.
Really? Like, yeah, really. Yeah.
You got to tell him like, hey, it's not me, man. Like, I'd keep you employed if I could, but.
Yeah, but it's kind of like a last point on him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. But
Yeah.
I mean, he must understand that. I mean, it's not you firing him. It's you delivering the message, like don't shoot the messenger kind of thing.
It was a trigger based on lates and the punch clock. I had no control over that.
Really? So he was late?
Too many times
On the punch clock.
in a probationary period.
Wow.
But he was late a lot because he just had a kid.
Yeah.
That
sucks. Yeah.
And so.
Fuck yeah, that would suck. Like he just had a kid.
And it was
like
2 weeks before
money.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 weeks before Christmas.
Wow.
Heartless.
Yeah.
But if we let him go beyond Christmas, then he'd be in and the whole thing reset.
Yeah. And then you can't get rid of him, right? Then you need reasons and the whole,
Yeah.
deep reasons. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was, this is what we got to do. And it's on your shift and you're managing the shift. So have at it.
That sucks. That's like one of those like facts of life kind of thing.
Yeah.
People got to get fired.
It was one of those moments where it's like the UFO thing. And like, do you have the balls to storm Area 51?
Right.
Do you have the balls to go up there and take it?
Knowing you're going to die probably.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't have the balls to say that's wrong and sacrifice my own job.
Yeah.
And that's awful that it takes that in this world.
Right. Right.
I shouldn't have to.
I mean, what were you going to do? You can't lose your job.
Can't sacrifice my own because I got to pay my own bills.
Yeah.
And I got my own family.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's really, really shitty. I mean, unfortunately, regardless of the excuse, it really should have come down to him, realizing like, fuck, honey, we got to work something out because I can't be late if I can't afford to lose this job,
Yes, but he did explain what was going on. I explained, and it just
doesn't matter. It
didn't matter.
It's numbers on a sheet for them, right? That's the thing. Like,
well, yes.
I know worker 173 is just not performing up to snuff. So we need to replace him with a worker that will be.
But this, I think, is the difference that we're talking about right now between sociopathic and not. And
that's because it takes a fucking sociopath, basically, or a psychopath to be in those upper positions that can do that. Right?
Yeah.
Where you're looking at that final thing like, oh yeah, okay, what is this? Oh, we got to knock off fucking 1,000 jobs 2 weeks before Christmas? No problem. Yeah.
How many businesses failed for having a bleeding heart?
Yeah. Am I still getting my $5 million bonus? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Don't worry. I'll have them gone in time.
Yeah.
Right. That's how I make my fucking bonus. I'm getting rid of a bunch of extra fucking dead weight.
This is all learned behavior over and over. So maybe sociopathic is taught. Like it's a natural thing. Yeah, I do believe that, but I do also believe it's
fostered.
Fostered, ingrained.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing where it's like, okay, you are working in that environment where you have somebody like, say, CEO who's a psychopath or something. He's got the guys under him, and they're watching. Oh, I want to be the CEO too. He's like, and he's teaching you, right? Oh, okay. Well, this is how you got to be. You got to be fucking ruthless and this and that. And you got to do it this way and fucking slice their throat if you have to. Right. And you're writing that down. Okay. Slice their throat if I have to. Right.
Yeah.
And then every time you make a decision, what would fucking Jesus do? Who's my boss,
Yeah. But like, what would Jesus do?
If Jesus was my boss? I'd slit his throat, like
it's what the boss is kind of thinking of that's kind of messing all of it up. Though in the case that I had, he was like watching shows like Suits and like lawyers and I need to slick back my hair and wear a suit.
Like your boss?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
At that time,
he was trying to dress like he was an extra on Suits.
Yeah, and just. Behind closed doors and in personal conversations, talking about like in the lifestyle,
right?
Young professionals, cutthroat, viper's nest.
Yeah.
He secretly tried to foster that, tried to make that kind of environment, and it all went to shit. Yeah, it doesn't work.
No, not unless you're a psychopath.
Not unless there's a balance in there. You need a little bit of it to keep your business alive, but not that much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then, let the one guy through who just had a kid.
Yeah. I mean, if it was a guy who was running the company who was like, yeah, this is my company and I care about my people, then you'd be thinking about that kind of thing, right? On an individual basis. But like we said, that's where you need a psychopath to run those positions if you want to just go by the books. Yeah. That's where that's where it comes into. I mean, how else are you going to do things where it's like, oh shit, we got to like get rid of 100,000 liters of this chemical. What are we going to do? Well, if we dump it in the river, no one's going to know, right? Like if we do, they're not going to know for 2 years. The fine's only going to be $5 million, or it's going to cost $10 million to get rid of it properly. So like, what do we do? Like, fuck it.
Yeah, we'll do what we do.
Yeah.
And
because they don't care about the consequences, and it takes a fucking psycho to think that way.
It's a two-way street too. They're people from the floor, us, that make it so hard for the management that just walk into a building and just like, fuck you, management.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. I hate you because you're authority.
Yeah.
I didn't even do anything. And you know what? There's logic here where you got to do the work to get the money. So let's go do the work. No, I feel sick today. Bye. at making everything hard.
Yeah.
Every little rule, every little is just like, why?
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. Fighting everything, every step of the way, or needing every accommodation that they can think of.
Sure.
Going through the MOL book, Ministry of Labor book, and like, oh, that right there. I have a problem with this.
Yeah.
You have to accommodate me.
I need 10 toilet breaks. It says here I'm allowed 10 toilet breaks.
I have a doctor's note.
Yeah.
If it's a doctor's note, you got to listen to it.
Yeah.
And
you can't ask what the problem is.
Yep.
Right? Like,
yeah.
Why? What's your medical problem there then? You can't ask that shit.
Nope. You cannot. Okay. You have a medical problem and your doctor described these things that you need. I will do my best to make sure you have them.
Yeah.
That was my job. And I believe in that, like doing things the opposite way, more for the worker.
Yeah.
And it still did no good. It still did no good.
Mm-hmm.
They were just the exact same. You can give them everything in the world and then it's still like, it's shit.
Yeah.
Take it back.
It just comes down to those numbers.
Yeah. I want more. Yeah. Well, anyways, we are well up there in time. I want to be mindful of your next day.
Yeah. What, do you want to wrap it up?
Oh yeah. Oh, we're at the 2-hour mark. Yeah.
One more thing before we go.
Oh yeah.
Well, we'll save the nuclear thing for next week. But did you see the Spiral?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Actually, for the Spiral, let's just
I'm looking around. What the hell?
So, yeah, this was in where, Denmark?
I don't know. I don't think so. I thought it was in America.
There might have been two.
Yeah, I don't know where it was.
Yeah, one was Denmark, one was in America, and it stayed up in the sky for about 5 minutes in spiral.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
How far is Denmark from
USA? Oh, like kind of imagining it's the same point that two different people are looking at.
No, I'm just remembering. Okay, so first of all, the spiral here. This is like a bluish kind of spiral that kind of looks like a spinning circle that people are saying, like the government and everything is saying that it was a failed rocket or something, or it was a SpaceX rocket dumping fuel. That's what they said.
Yeah,
and people that watched it and recorded it said they saw some stuff flying out of it, or what they thought was flying out of it. So that's leading credence to the idea that it could be a portal in these people's mind. But did you see the footage?
Not footage, just still images.
Okay, you should bring up the footage because I want to show you something interesting about it. It'll be like, the new spiral footage or so. I forget what it would be under. I forgot what I looked up earlier. New spiral abyss. New spiral. Oh, they're talking about the spiral fucking things under Egypt there. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that more because last week we talked about that with those fucking things. I thought there was only 2 pillars, but there's like fucking 6 of them or 10 of them or something. And each of them are like taller than the pyramid. There we go. SpaceX spy satellite launch leaves otherworldly blue spiral in the sky. Let's clip that. Is the sound coming through this? Or yeah, hopefully it is.
Well, people in the UK
Perfect.
spotted a strange phenomenon in the sky on Monday. This large glowing spiral was visible for several minutes over the country before moving on to other parts of Europe. It's believed to have been caused by a...
What happened there?
I don't know. All right, let's watch like a footage of it because that's the important thing. So this is supposed to be SpaceX dumping footage or dumping fuel. Okay, and did they say, sorry, where this was? We missed it?
Why is a piranha's butt?
That says Aussie. And they just keep saying blue spiral seen in the UK night sky, it says.
Yeah,
Well, people in the UK
This one
spotted
People
a
in the
strange
UK, so that's in
phenomenon
England.
the
Yeah.
sky on Monday. This large glowing
Right,
spiral
there it is,
was
okay.
visible for several minutes over the country before moving on to other parts of Europe. It's believed to have been caused by a SpaceX rocket launch in the US. A plume of the rocket's exhaust likely froze and traveled like a cloud with the sunlight hitting it just right. It appeared to many to spin in the air as it floated by. The Falcon 9 rocket flew out of Florida on a classified U.S. government mission.
Classified.
Well, people in the
That's
UK
why-
spotted a strange
That's such
phenomenon.
bullshit. Classified fucking you. Like, oh, that means that like there's no record of it. We just
and we're to believe that fuel in Elon's perfect rockets
right.
burped out a whole chunk of fuel, and it froze and then spun across Europe.
I think their idea, the way they're trying to spin this, is that it's spraying out like, you know, like a fucking mist, so that it's igniting as it's being spit out, and then that, like, I don't know, somehow freezes in the atmosphere. The reason you're seeing the thing. Let's see if you can see more footage of this thing, because I want to show you something else about this. This is the tricky part, and I want you to really look at this fucking spiral and like the image that you're getting out of it, what it looks like. Sky at Night magazine. Using all sky camera. Have you seen a strange spiral-shaped cloud in the night sky?
This might be
You may have just seen a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. Oh, wow. Yeah. This totally explains it. Someone's fucking keyhole shot, like from their Ring camera. James Dale captured this
Suffolk.
video.
At 8 p.m. Okay.
James used an all sky camera. This looks like a bullshit fucking camera here. Was this supposed to be his telescope? Because it looks like it sucks. The strange formation is exhaust plume from the Falcon 9 rocket. All right. See if you can find another better footage like of the actual spiral of this thing. Like that first one looked pretty good. Oh, wait, go down. That third one, no, down a little more. That one. See if you can see that one.
Recently, something strange has appeared in the sky over Alaska. It was a glowing blue spiral, like from a sci-fi movie. Now, here's
Is this a
what
different
really
one?
happened.
No, this is on.
SpaceX launched a rocket from California that
Here's
was
what
carrying
really
a bunch of
happened.
stuff into space.
Carrying a bunch of stuff.
After a few hours, the rocket was in space and needed to get rid of some extra fuel.
Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, that
When it
looks
released
just
the
like
fuel,
it. Sure.
It froze into a spiral shape and was illuminated by the sun.
Why would it freeze in a
That's
spiral
why people
shape?
in Alaska saw a glowing blue spiral in the sky.
Okay, so look at that spiral.
Sometimes rockets have
Now
extra
type
fuel they
in
don't need
Norwegian
anymore,
spiral.
and it's not safe to bring it back to Earth. Instead, they release it into space, where it freezes and eventually falls back to Earth without causing any harm. So, no invasion from space or a mysterious portal to another dimension.
invasion from
Maybe
space.
next
Okay,
time.
now type in Norwegian spiral. Okay. And then I want you to look at the date. Okay, go down. That's not it. That's the same one. That's the same one. There. 15 years ago.
Oh, whoa.
A mysterious sight.
Tell me how
skies
this looks
over
in comparison.
Norway early this morning.
Okay.
A never seen before spiral of white light. Some said it had a blue tail. Norwegian newspapers have been bombarded with
Pretty
people
damn
who claim
close.
to have seen it. Question
Pretty
is,
much
of
the
course,
same
what
thing, although it
was
looks like it's
Now,
being
some of the
beamed,
guesses
hey?
range from a
Yeah.
Russian missile, which Russia is denying, by the way, to a comet or some other type of object.
It ended up them saying that it was a fucking a failed Russian rocket. That's what they're.
Huh. Failed Russian rocket.
Yeah, but I mean, like it looks pretty much fucking identical, I would say. Besides the look like it was being beamed from that in the Norwegian one, but we only got one angle of it basically from the other one, so it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah. That one could be from high up, and then it looks that way because of the curve of the earth.
Right.
So I'll buy that. And I guess I can, no, I can't buy that as frozen jet fuel. Like
Well, they never said anything about frozen jet fuel on that one. What was the reason that it was a Russian rocket? They just said it was misfiring, and that's what the spiral is. It's like
yeah,
it was going up, and then all of a sudden it misfired, but it was going this way. So that's why it looked like a spiral. They're like a misfired fucking rocket, which Russia has denied.
if it was a misfire and just shot a bunch of fuel out,
Yeah.
then you have something. But why is this fuel causing a spiral?
If you've ever seen a rocket fucking spin around, it never goes in a fucking spiral like that. It goes all over the fucking place, right? Like it's going wherever the blast will fucking kind of take it, right?
Well,
You see them flop all over the fucking place, right? Because it's just going in any direction that the blaster is going, right? Like it's like a fire hose.
Yeah.
Turn on a fire hose and it's it's just going all over. It's not going in a fucking spiral.
Yeah. Yeah, it just makes no sense to me. I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
I'm not buying that one.
The original thing also with that Norwegian spiral though, at the time I remember reading that they literally turned on CERN that day that spiral was seen. They like turned it on and then started an experiment, and I think that was the day that they found the Bose-Higgs, like the God particle or whatever. That was the day they found it. The day that fucking Norwegian spiral was spotted.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe that's a signal. If we start seeing them in the sky, and then all of a sudden we're like an ocean gate, the whole planet just crumples and turns into the size of a basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good mystery. I like that one.
Yeah.
I don't buy the jet fuel.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, but we will talk about the nuclear. I do want to delve into that one more.
We should do a whole episode on it because it'll take a while. I mean, just that guy's video is like an hour and 20 minutes long or something. So if we just listen to a couple portions of it and then talked about what after he's got an interesting point, just kind of discuss it and whatever, and then we can play more, and maybe even over a couple episodes we could watch the thing.
Sure.
Break it down.
Yeah, I'm good to learn about nuclear power.
See how long it takes us, but yeah, let's do that.
All right. Sounds cool.
All right.
Well, it was a good one. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, we'll catch you on the flip side.
All right. See ya.
They call me the reaper of the digital age. Every text I send becomes a loaded gauge. Happy birthday! I cry to a chat of remorse. Now I'm the villain of this cursed discourse. Shit, there it goes, my social finesse. Another road chat, another hot mess. I'm the harbinger of cringe, the king of regret. Leaving flaming group threats, no one will forget. So my boss signed pregnant, it was meant for a friend. Now HR wants a word, will this madness ever end? I invited my ex to my wedding by mistake. They RSVP'd with can't wait for the cake. Shit, there it goes, my social finesse. Another road chat, another hot mess. I'm the harbinger of cringe, the king of regret. Leaving flaming group threats, no one will forget. Told my boss I'm pregnant, it was meant for a friend. Now HR wants a word, will this madness ever end? I invited my ex to my wedding by mistake. They RSVP'd with can't wait for the cake. Shit, there it goes, my sanity's leak. My phone is the chaos, my thumbs are the freaks. I'm a one-man storm of absurd digital blinders. My texts are wrecking I sent you up to my dentist at 3 a.m. Now I've got an appointment I can't comprehend. Swapped LOL with her aunt, corrected the rest. Now grandma thinks I wished her eternal unrest. So here's my confession, I'm doomed to this fate. A messenger of chaos at an alarming rate. Wrong chats on my kingdom, regret is my throne. Long live my legacy, miscommunication zone.